The Landholder Environment Grants Program provides financial assistance for private landholders to undertake on-ground projects that protect and enhance the natural assets and biodiversity. From the Sunshine Coast Council, Dave Burrows. Dave, how important is this program?
The Sunshine Coast region has 42% remnant vegetation remaining. Of that 42%, approximately 50% is in private ownership. So therefore, private landowners have a major role to play as custodians of much of our biodiversity. The program has been highly successful. Over the 3 years that it's been in operation, 416 landholders have received grants totalling $1.3 million. The type of projects we're looking at supporting landholders with are ones that do things like fencing off creek lines to protect the vegetation on them, projects that look at controlling environmental weeds that are threatening native vegetation, and revegetation projects that aim to re-establish corridors throughout the landscape.
And today we're here to talk to private landholders who have been successful in receiving the Environment Grant. We're here in Kin with Pam and Mark Hansen. Mark, you received the grant to revegetate this area. Tell me a bit about the project.
With the help of the council grant, we were able to widen the riparian zone along Rupunga Creek, as well as create and widen the wildlife corridor. We've been able to fast track our planting through this whole property, especially in this area. We've been able to plant approximately 1,000 eucalypts as well as rainforest species.
So what was this area like before the revegetation?
Because this is steep and landslip prone, we weren't able to get machinery on here, and it was overgrown with lantana, camphor laurel and bladed grass.
And we're now just out of Mapleton. In fact, we're on a very, very steep block of land with the main road right behind us and seeing out to the glorious Sunshine Coast in the distance. I'm with Daryl and Craig, who've been doing a lot of work clearing weeds from this area. What have you been doing?
Well, we've been removing lantana and killing privets in place. You'll see an odd dead tree around us. We leave those privets in place so that they can have birds perch in them and drop more native seeds for us. But we've been adding thousands of local native species in order to turn what used to be a beautiful rainforest back into something approximating the same kind of forest.
And how has the grant been of use to you?
Well, the grant has been very helpful, as have earlier grants that we've received, in accelerating the process for us. We've been doing work on our own for a long time, but the grants really do help us more to employ other people and to get the whole process happening a lot faster.
So Craig, in this area, I notice you've cleared the lantana and loosely stacked it.
Yeah, there are a lot of different ways of approaching it, but over the years we've found that by stacking it up, it air dries it, it doesn't re-root on the ground, and we're also clearing the ground so that when we come in and do our follow-up planting, the planting's easier and the follow-up maintenance is easier.
And that was two great examples of property owners who have contributed to enhancing the local environment through the Landholder Environment Grants Program. The Sunshine Coast Council acknowledges the vital role and contribution that landholders make towards protecting the region's environmental values.